Well, hello there. It's that time again. Yes, it is indeed time for the blog that truly blazes here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, the 24th of April of 2016. And as usual, I'm going to go over the energies of the end of last week's reading, what we're coming into now, and of course always most interesting for us, what lies ahead of us at the end of the upcoming week. So do stay tuned, it will be an interesting ride. The first card is the last card of the previous week's reading, and this card was the Princess or Page of Swords. Now she gets attributed to Libra, and she's a more efficient version of Libra. She doesn't tend to get caught up in analysis paralysis. She tends to really focus. She tries to be fair. She wants to accomplish her agenda. So she's not worried about a popularity contest as much as she is concerned with doing the right thing. And you may have found yourself the same way. Your mind may have been very focused upon your goals, you're weighing out your options, deciding what was best for you, and then going ahead and pursuing it, because this would tend to be a very confident energy. Now, astrologically, the most interesting thing was the full moon this last Friday in Scorpio. Okay, so now the moon is waning, which means it's decreasing in its strength. This is a good time for getting rid of things. This is a time for cleaning up our lives, discarding outmoded values, thoughts, attitudes, or even, if necessary, physical things. So this is a good time for cleansing, purifying, which enables us to live in our integrity, as we'll see in the next card. That's right, the card of the present. What we're coming into now is the Three of Wands. Attributed astrologically to the Sun in Aries, it's entitled Virtue in my Thoth Tarot. Now this is a beautiful card, one of my favorites, because it is living in integrity. The idea of virtue is our inner virtue, being true to the Tao, okay, the divine within, however you want to express it. It's living in accordance with that. It's focusing our energies on our goals and looking expectantly, faithfully, for returns to occur. So now we can focus on what we need to do, want to do, living in our integrity. The moon phases don't correspond all that well, or moon signs, I should say, moon signs, pardon me, don't really quite correspond with what's going on with the cards until we come to the next card, the third and final card, the card for the end of the week. That's right, the card for the end of the week is the Seven of Swords. Okay, now not the happiest of cards, entitled Futility. It's the idea of the mind vacillating back and forth. It's Moon in Aquarius. Now, Moon in Aquarius is going to tend to make the sharp, very fixed mental air sign of Aquarius kind of foggy. But very fitting, because on the 28th, this Thursday, Mercury is going to go retrograde. So we can have a little bit of fogginess in our thinking, a little bit of a bump as we go into that retrograde, and then things tend to settle out. Now, I don't see retrogrades as terrible, terrible things. Even Mercury retrograde, depending on your chart and how your Mercury is aspected, some people have dramatic effects from it. A lot of people do not. The key thing with a retrograde, especially a Mercury retrograde, because it does affect thinking to a degree and communication, is not signing any contracts. You know, it's not advisable to make long-term commitments. If you can avoid major purchases, that's not necessarily a bad idea either. But if you need to buy some software, you need to do something to the computer, whatever, you know, don't be scared. You know, you do what you need to do. Life goes on, okay? But just bear in mind, you don't want to make long-term commitments during a retrograde, because you'll tend to regret them. You'll look back on it and you'll say, boy, if I'd have thought this through, I might not have done this, or if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have signed that. So this is where we do want to be careful in how we act and how we think. But there you go. The blog blaze. You blazed with it, a brief blog. I appreciate your support. You're watching this blog every week. Till I see you next week, many blessings.